Heidi-ho, my peeps. Well, I've been lying in this bathtub now for about, I don't know, I'd say 45 minutes, maybe close to an hour. And I've been trying to come up with something interesting to talk to you about. And for the life of me, I am blank. I have no idea what to say. And as I was mulling that over, it occurred to me that when I was 11 years old, maybe, my mother brought me my first copy of 17 magazine. Oh, I fell in love with that magazine. I could not wait for it to hit the newsstands. I don't know why I didn't get a subscription to it, but I would run down to the drugstore or the grocery store and I would buy it every month, and I kept all of my copies for years and years, loved it. I probably read that magazine till I was around, I don't know, 19 or 20-ish. Somewhere around the time I got married was about when I stopped buying it and reading it. And part of why I stopped buying and reading it was because I realized that 17 magazine only had so much information to offer. After a while, you realize that the same articles got, revisited every year or couple of years. They'd cover the same stuff. And so it wasn't new, really. It just kept being repackaged, the same old things, 10 tips for getting ready for a date. Well, actually, that was before the what do they call them now? Listicles, list articles. That was before the listicles got popular. But it would be something along that line. How to mix prints and plaids, or your back-to-school checklist, or, that sort of thing. And it always ended up being the same stuff over and over. And when I realized, I thought, man, this magazine hasn't been growing with me. It's been stuck in its same world as I've been growing up and growing into this new world of being an adult. And of course, that's exactly what the magazine is supposed to do. It's supposed to be for young teenage girls, offering advice that's appropriate to their lives. And, after you become an adult and, you have new problems, well, the old magazine is not going to help you anymore. And I've noticed that with other magazines too, like the next set that I was really into after 17 was Glamour, Elle, and Mademoiselle. Loved those magazines. Used to read them all the time. But eventually, I outgrew those magazines and what they have to offer as well, because those are for young adult women. Then I sort of stopped reading magazines. Even the one magazine that has stood me in good stead my entire life, from the time I discovered it at about the same time I discovered 17 to this very day, and that's Vogue. As a young teenager, I sort of understood Vogue as something that would be happening to me later, and it was terribly glamorous, and I loved learning about the different designers, and, their articles would often cover contemporary subjects that were going on in the world. It was really fascinating to me, and something sort of to aspire to. I saved all of those issues as well, although I did throw them out when I was around 30, and I regret that, because I had them dating all the way back to, 1972 or something like that. And so much about Vogue is what's the word? It's like it could look into the future. If you were to take a look at the 1971 Vogue now, you would see a lot of the clothes that are becoming popular now. You'll see them, you know, in department stores. You'll see a lot of that those clothes from back then. It's a, you know, clothing is a cycle. And to read Vogue across all of those years, you really start to learn, you know, the cycles of popular fashion. It was fascinating to me. You know, that's a magazine that I would continue to read, but it's not a magazine that's a part of my life anymore, because it's about the things that I don't care about. I couldn't care less about clothes, makeup, skincare, you know, designers. There's just so much in that world that doesn't affect me anymore. And so I no longer read that magazine. Vanity Fair is a fascinating magazine. It is like Vogue, but it's packed with a lot more articles about contemporary life, about things that are going on in our world. It's a lot more political articles. So that's been a lot of stuff about the entertainment industry. So that's been an interesting one to read all these years. But again, it's stuff that I really don't care about anymore. So I've sort of aged out, I guess, of magazines. That is a funny thing to contemplate. It's interesting to me because a couple of content providers that are my friends here on YouTube, Lilybug Lane, Lala from Lilybug Lane, and also Stephanie from Soft Pink Stardust. She doesn't do this anymore, I don't think, but Stephanie used to do this thing she'd call Flip It. She'd take a magazine, she'd flip through it and talk about it. Lala does that on a regular basis. She'll take, I believe it's Woman's Circle magazine. I think that's the one. And she'll flip through that and talk about the articles and so forth. I thought that was really interesting. I used to do a little bit of that, but it's not, you know, part of my core competency, flipping through a magazine. So I'm going to leave that to Lala and everybody else who does it better than I do. But anyway, I've been thinking about that and how people, like magazines, run out of content sometimes. And I feel as if I'm, right now, today, I've run out of content. And it's a weird place to be. There's so many things I can do. I could get up out of this bathtub, put on some clothes, and I could go in and do a $3 dinner, or I could do a craft video. I've got a bunch of funky little crafts I want to do with you guys. There are so many videos I can do, but they'd be done just for the sake of doing a video, not because it was something that I felt like I needed to share right then and there, if that makes any sense. And maybe that's just the nature of being a content provider. Sometimes you have something important to share with people, or that you think is important. Well, let me rephrase all that. Sometimes I have something that I feel is important to share with you guys. Don't know why. It's just something that captures me right then. And then I'll do a video about it. Other times, like now, I won't feel like there's much of anything at all to share. And by just churning out another video, I'm not doing either one of us any favors, because I'm not going to be engaged enough for you to feel like I'm doing it because I want to do it for you and for me. So there's a disengagement there. And, you know, it's the one thing. If you're going to do content, the kind of content I do anyway, you have to be genuine. You can't fake contact with people, and I can't fake the comments that I write. Being genuine is really important to me in all of life, not just this, but out in the corporeal world where I live too. Without that thing, things are behavior is false. And false behavior doesn't make anybody feel good, in my opinion. That was a pretty garbled explanation of all of this, but let's just say that I'm having a little lull in my creativity. So what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to finish this video. I'm going to clean my room. Now, maybe that is the video that I need to do, because it's genuine. My room is, well, it's just horrible. It's just bad. And even my room completely clean, vacuumed, and neat is bad, because I haven't finished my walls or my ceiling yet. I don't have any insulation in my ceiling. My walls don't have their wall board up yet. It's, you know, I'm living basically out in a shed is what it feels like. It's what it looks like. It looks like I'm living in a shed. I'm not really. I'm living on a section of my front porch that I enclosed, but it's very Green Acres. Any of you who know that show, Green Acres, well, that's, my house looks like the Green Acres house that never ended up being finished. So anyhow, maybe that would be an authentic video to do, so you guys could come along and watch me do that. So anywho, I just wanted to share that with you, that sometimes I feel like I don't have much of anything to give, and it's an uncomfortable feeling because I like doing daily videos. So that's that. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye.